Hey, how's it going, everyone? My name is Victor, and I am your new host for Artist Banter. Artist Banter is the Long Beach Current Arts and Live podcast where we talk all things arts with local artists from on campus and beyond. Joining me today is my co host, Delfino Camacho.
Hello, everyone. It's Delfino Camacho, your frequent co host here on Artist Banter and the Arts and Life editor for the Long Beach Current.
So welcome, Diego and Jason. Diego Perez and Jason Green are two young working journalists working in photography and writing reporting. Both also happen to be disabled, but this is just a small blip of their story. They are here in the studio today to talk about their work in photography and in writing, their influences, upcoming projects, maybe any struggles and victories. So Diego and Jason, hello. How are you guys doing today?
Great.
Diego, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here. I was really looking forward for this.
Yeah, I've been waiting a very long time to be on Artist Banter.
I think all of our ears have been waiting to hear you guys. So thank you guys for taking the time.
Thank
Wonderful.
you.
Thank you, guys. So, before we get into your work, can we kind of hear about yourself, a little bit more about your background? Who is Diego Perez? Who is Jason Green?
Well, I'm Diego Perez. I'm a 18-year-old Mexican. This is my first year. This is my first year at Cal State University of Long Beach.
Excuse me.
Cal State University of Long Beach. Majoring in psychology. My goals are trying to be a forensic psychologist. One of my favorite shows is Dexter. If you know, you know. He's a blood splatter analyst, so I kind of wanted to go into psychology field, but at the same time wanted to do something with forensics. So that's why I'm looking forward to that.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and I'll pass the mic.
Hi, I'm Jason Green.
Yeah, same question to you. Jason, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, hi, I'm Jason. I am a 21-year-old, so I'm like the older guest here, except for I am a journalism major. I kind of always wanted to write, and I thought English was a really boring major to pursue, so I chose journalism instead, and so I'm happy I got here now.
Sounds good.
Fantastic. Well, let me just ask my first question to Diego. What made you want to pick up a camera?
What made me want to pick up a camera? I didn't want to pick up the camera at first. So long story short, in my high school, I was part of the yearbook team. I joined yearbook in my sophomore year, and the last year was senior year. Progressively, I was just one of the members in sophomore year through junior years. I wasn't nothing major. I didn't have a specific role. But then senior year, because in junior year I was the only junior, and then all of the members were seniors. So in senior year, going into senior year, all the other members of the yearbook were brand new. So I was the only veteran. So I kind of had to take up all the roles and step up exactly. So I didn't know how to use a camera. I used it like 2 or 3 times my junior year. And they didn't really use it. Senior year, I picked it up and I had to learn from scratch. So I'm a self-taught photographer. I didn't really want to do it because I didn't really want to go do the work, basically. I wanted to focus on my academic life rather than taking photographs at my old high school, because I had to basically do all the photography for the yearbook. So if you look at my old yearbook, which I wish I brought to present, I low-key lost it, so that's embarrassing. So if I brought my yearbook, you see that 90% of the yearbook is my photos. Something I'm proud of. I'm not complaining. But yeah, so I started with the school had a Sony A7 III paired with a similar lens like this. I think it's the same one. But yeah, now I shoot with a Sony A7 IV and the Sony GM 72-200 f2.8 OSS2 or something like that. And I also have used a fisheye lens paired with my flash. That's probably my favorite type of photography because I do these portraits. I kind of skipped a lot. But yeah, that's why I started using a camera, because it was kind of my job. So
And stuck with it, looks like.
yeah.
I mean, here you are now.
Would you say that, since you said it wasn't exactly your passion, did you feel like when you first started out, it kind of felt like a chore trying to learn
exactly
all
like
the
a
new
chore.
things?
I had to go to events that started at like 7, or like I had to sacrifice my lunch to take pictures at rallies or something like that. And it was a lot at first, but then I started growing some type of passion for it. And yeah, that's where we are right now.
And then Jason, you started taking photos recently, but more in your past. You've been trying to write, and you have been writing for a few years. How did that start?
So I always loved storytelling as a kid, but I was actually really illiterate as a kid. Actually, I was in special education due to my disability. I'll get into more on that later, and because of that, I really struggled with reading and writing, and so I used to have I for some reason I was just really into storytelling, and I used to have my mom write out. I used to like verbally say my stories, and I would have my mom write it out, and so she would write out my stories and hear all these these childish little things, and then when I was like around like 7, for some reason I got really interested in the news, specifically Good Morning America. I watched Good Morning America.
That was your jam?
Yeah, so much. I actually want to go to New York specifically just to be there like, for Good Morning America. And so for several years I watched that, and I used to like love the news, and I love like the just learning about people's stories, and I love that storytelling aspect of journalism. And then let's skip forward all the way to my community college days. I went to community college, so I'm a transfer here. I originally wanted to do like psychology or English, and then I'm like all of those are really boring to me. And I'm like, I was thinking like, Good Morning America. I really loved that as a kid. I really loved learning about these events and people, and like, I can do that, and I love storytelling, and so I wanted to pursue journalism, and that's what I'm kind of feel now. Even though I still struggle with reading and writing, I still want to pursue this career.
Nice. Nice. Well, I mean, let me kind of shift gears for a second, kind of explore the world of journalism and photography, specifically as disabled folks. Would you like to share your disability?
My disability is more of a physical disability. I'm missing a hand. So one funny thing I like to do is go to knots or anything. So I went up to a little kid, and then on the line, and and I was like, "Can I get a high five?" And he was about to, like, he winded it up, and then he was about to go, and then I switched it, and he was out. His face was full of terror. I'm not even exaggerating it. Like, I mean, don't blame the little kid. Like, it's just probably his first time ever seeing something so new and different. So, and then this is kind of messed up, but then I told him, I was like, don't go in Ghost Rider. I that's where I lost it. And we were in the line for hang time, and he got so scared. I kind of started feeling bad, but me and my friends were laughing. Yeah, I was a prick. But keep in mind, this was like 4 years ago. So, what's it called? Yeah, this is my physical disability. Sorry for the fun fact. Maybe not so fun fact. Who knows? But to me, it was a fun fact. And yeah.
And I also have physical disability. Well, if you can see, I have something called cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy is one of the most common physical disabilities. But my form of cerebral palsy is like kind of less common. It's called spastic hemiplegia cerebral palsy, which affects one side of your body, and it affects my right side, and with that I also get speech difficulties, because people with cerebral palsy on the right side typically, like that affect the right side, typically have like speech difficulties. So that's why if you hear me, I would sound a little bit off compared to other people.
And if you don't mind me saying, Diego specifically mentioned how his disability is a physical disability. Is yours a mix of different types of disabilities?
I also have an adult disability as well.
Understood.
It's called so I have an intellectual disability. Intellectual disability, I have difficulty like understanding things compared to other people. Like for example, like math is an impossibility for me, and like reading is really hard, even though I really love reading. and now I was gonna say something, totally forgot what I was gonna say, but yeah, so that's how my disabilities in a sense, and those do affect my daily life.
Going off that, we were talking just a little bit before Mike, and you guys mentioned that as people with disability, there's some tasks that other people take for granted and think is very easy that is a little bit more difficult for you guys that some people it doesn't even come to their mind. One of you mentioned tying shoes.
Yes. So from my experience, as a little kid, I grew up, and I would have to ask people, and it was embarrassing for me. Like, imagine little third grader me, especially since I was born in Mexico, and then I moved when I was 8, so middle of the summer. So I finished second grade over there. Anything from second grade and below that, sorry, I would wear those untied shoes or pre-tied shoes. I don't know the exact terminology, but basically the shoes that they didn't have shoelaces.
Mm-hmm.
I like wearing sneakers a lot, so those slip-ons. Those were great. But then I moved to United States, and I didn't know English. What's it called? At least my first year here. So for my third grade, so I'd be extremely embarrassed having to ask people to tie my shoes. My mom would tie them double knot, so they wouldn't untie. But there was occasions where they would untie themselves, so I would have to ask a friend, or I preferably like to ask my teacher. I would stay behind before lunch ended, and then I would just ask her to tie my shoes. But I mean, I could demonstrate right here. I don't know. Is this allowed?
I guess for our visual viewers, maybe
Yeah.
not so much for our audio.
Yeah.
But Diego's demonstrating the process he's come up to tie his shoes, and reminder that Diego was missing a hand.
You should do the commentator thing. You know when they're playing like with volleyball, they like
He goes for the grab.
he goes
Play
so.
by play.
Yeah, it goes to show that it shows the lack of knowledge I have in disability, because I don't even think about tying my shoes nowadays. It's something I figured out when I was younger, and it's not really a problem.
Like
I take it for granted.
Yeah.
Like for me, I as someone who also has a physical disability, I actually can't tie my shoes. So I actually just buy shoelaceless. I don't know the word, but like I buy shoes without any laces. So that's kind of like my way of like adapting to trying to wear shoes, which everyone basically does. But I just can't tie my shoes.
I also wanted to add on. My ending high school, I gave one of the graduation speeches. I kind of based it off my disability. I really exemplified, because I was a salutatorian, white gown, whatever, right? Like, I explicitly described that just because I'm disabled doesn't mean I can't do the same things other people can. I could play video. I used to be crack at Fortnite. like what's it called? I'm gonna be so honest with you. Yeah, I can't play in the PC, but give me a controller and I'll cook. I'll cook anyone, and especially in a fighting game. Drama Fighter Z is my jam. But yeah, I could play video games. I could tie my shoes. Like I could get straight A's without just because I'm missing a hand doesn't mean nothing, I've done, and I could still do more things than what a average person can do. I don't think I'm better, but it doesn't mean I'm different at the same time.
Well, since we're talking about challenges, what challenges have you faced within the industry of either photography or journalism?
I can go false with that.
Yeah.
So, so I have my intellectual disability. Because journalism is such a fast-paced field, I have so much difficulty trying to just comprehend everything all at once, especially with my section for the Long Beach Court, which is Arts and Life. That you have to like focus in on individuals and understanding the complex stories all the time, which complexity is like my number one enemy. Even though, I mean, that's most people's enemy, but for me, it's like a huge challenge for me. But so like dissecting, kind of like comprehending people's stories is the most challenging thing for me. And then when you reach deadlines, that's even crazier. Like when deadlines come up, I'm like in my mind, I'm kind of like running around and making sure I don't have any mistakes, because my disabilities, my intellectual disability makes me really prone to mistakes.
If you don't mind me saying, though, for those that don't know, Arts and Life is the section I'm the editor of. Jason is one of the assistants to that section. But you're one of the most consistent publishers in that section. You write stories pretty regularly. So I guess what I'm curious about is, how did you overcome that fear? I don't think that's new to this semester. From when I met you, you were already writing stories. You keep pretty busy. Is it a conscious thing? Do you have to force yourself to do these things?
Yeah, I had to force myself to pursue. Like I get really scared to pursue any type of article, but I rather try it than do nothing, because not trying doesn't advance your career, but trying actually does. Even if you fail at it, it's just another step forward in a sense. Even though it feels like a step backwards, it's really not. Like, for example, I was really, really proud of my story. I wrote an article about Melissa Bodie. She was on campus in the spring semester.
Last semester, yeah.
Yeah, and I loved that story. But I was, like, really scared to write it because it's like, oh, celebrity, really big celebrity. Her story is really, like, about disability. I mean, I love disability. I like writing about disability. But even then, it was really challenging to me to write. And also being on a really quick deadline that day, too, was also very stressful. But I was like telling myself, Jason, if you finish this article, it's gonna be really, really good for your career. I mean, really good. So
facts.
Yeah, so do it. Like, if you mess up right now, that's okay. But I feel like you should really, really try to do it. And so my kind of philosophy in journalism for my own experiences is try and fail, but failing doesn't mean failure. I mean, failing doesn't mean absolute failure. I know this is a common saying, but I feel like for me that needs to be reiterated, on a hourly basis.
It seems like you're doing all right. If you don't mind us, the same. What kind of you've been talking a lot about the challenges you face, and as Victor said, what are some of the challenges that transferred over when you started taking photography a little bit more seriously for yourself?
Well, besides the fact that learning how to use a camera, it was more of like properly handling it. For example, this is the lens I mainly use, which is a 72-200 that I mentioned earlier. It was a lot of zooming in and zooming out, but it was more of a matter of muscle memory, right? To trying to properly hold the camera and zoom in and zoom out, especially for my specialty, which is sports photography, which is a little bit more fast paced, and you have to be zooming out, zooming in, right? Thankfully, I don't really have to worry about manual focus, but if I had to worry about manual focus, that would be a huge challenge. Like that'd probably be my kryptonite or my biggest weakness, right? Like I wouldn't be able to properly manual focus. There's some techniques in photography that I've been wanting to try that kind of use manual focus into sports photography, but that's a little bit more. You have to put time in and practice. As if you were doing a sport, you were trying to improve. That's all. But as of challenges for me in photography specifically, it's just handling the lens properly once you're doing it. But you get comfortable and you get used to it.
Would you say that your disability has either shaped or influenced your art in any way?
Most definitely. I feel like how I mentioned earlier, like I don't feel like my disability is the limit. The textbook definition of disability is a restriction to a certain movement or something like that.
Daily function.
Daily function.
Yeah.
Thank you. Spot on. But I've never seen it restrict me in any single way, or at least I've always tried to overcome it, and I've never used it as an excuse. And never do I classify myself as a disabled person. Yeah, sometimes I crack a joke here and there, but that's just to make the people laugh. What was I saying? Shoot, what was the question? I'm sorry.
Well, the question was, would you say yes or no?
Oh yeah.
That your disability has either shaped or influenced your art?
It definitely has shaped because I love photography. Like like I said, it first started as a chore, and then I kind of just grew up into this passion for it. What's it called? Like everybody that kind of taught, because I had some mentors, Rashid and Joshua, which I'll touch in. I'll mention later, but they kind of did give me some pointers and some advice, and they did say that my disability wouldn't really affect it. It just maybe a little bit more, make it a little bit more difficult, but they never discouraged me from doing the work. I think some of my photos, especially with sports, I like how challenging and fun it is at the same time. It's like as if I was playing a video game in real life. That's how I see it. It definitely has shaped that because sports being such a fast-paced photography, and me having a disability that limits my movement, and yeah, I could produce such great quality in photos. Really puts a smile on my face, I would say.
Well, guys, that's thank you guys for taking the time to speak. We're almost running out of time here, but I did want to give you guys one opportunity. Any projects or any stories that we should be looking out for from you guys in the future, or maybe anything you want us to follow?
This is my first year with the current. Just look out. I'm gonna I'm gonna keep cooking. So this is just because it's my first CVI doesn't mean I'm not gonna get more. So I'm excited for that. Having more amazing work out there with the current. Definitely excited for that.
And for me, I'm hoping to write an article about accessibility around campus. And hopefully, if someone ever watches this who has like a physical disability and has struggles around campus, I actually come find me, and I want to write an article about the struggles of accessibility around this campus.
Reach out to the Arts and Life Desk
Yes.
at Long Beach Current, and we'll hook you up
Yeah.
with Jason. Write a story about that in the future.
Yes.
Well, thank you guys again. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys for coming. It's been a great talk.
Yeah, it's an honor.
Any last bit of words you want to say? Any last words?
Disability is not a dirty word. I actually have this amazing shot. If you can see it, it's a great shot. It's an Easter Seals campaign. It's like amazing.
My mom works for Easter Seals, so I had a hoodie. I don't know where it is, but yeah, it's a really cool hoodie. Definitely check out my Instagram page, capturing this _ability.